The Children's Safety Center started over 25 years ago as a grassroots organization because community members cared about at-risk children.
I don't think there's an actual definition of what an advocate does. I think it ranges, and mostly it's support for the family as soon as they come to the center and even after the process is done. So that includes going to court with them, doing home visits with the child, helping them pay any bills that they might have. So it just ranges depending on what the family needs at that moment.
Awesome. Why do you think that advocacy is important?
I think it's very important because a lot of families...
You might restart too and just say, I think that advocacy is important because...
I got scared. Yes, thank you.
No.
I was like, I'm in trouble. Okay. Repeat the question again.
Say, I think advocacy is important because... fill in the blank.
I think advocacy is important because we see a lot of families that don't have any other family support. And so we are the person, or we're the people, we're the center, we're the place where they can fall back on and rely on for any of their needs.
Perfect. I would explain your bilingual advocate role a little bit too. Being one of the bilingual advocates is the most important job I feel that I have, and it's because I'm that bridge of communication between the parents and the investigators. So in order for the investigation, I feel like, to be successful or to arrive at a common ground, I have to be the person that interprets everything well. So I think it's very crucial, and also having that understanding of how the Hispanic community views child abuse and how to be able to just get in there. So that's right. Let's see. I like your point. Where is it? Where you're talking about you provide the family support throughout the entire process, and there's no expiration date. So kind of explain that.
How do I start that?
You can say, you could start it with something like, so when a family comes to the center, they get assigned an advocate, and that's something that
has no expiration date.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So let me test it. When a family first arrives at the center, they are assigned an advocate, and then from that day, they can have a start date, but there's no expiration date of when our services as advocates end. So when a child, do I rephrase it? No. Okay. Yeah. When a child comes to the center, and after their interview, we love doing that's not what we do. Love, but when a child comes, when a child comes to the center, I was laughing. When a child comes to the center, after their interview, and if they had a medical or whatever, but after all that hard process is done, we like to end on a better note. So we always do a handprint with them. We have a drawer in which they can choose whatever colors they want. And then we paint their hand, and we added now onto our canvas because we're moving to our new building. But it just symbolizes to them, and I think it's part of their healing, that it makes them not feel alone. Like, there's other kids that have gone through this, and it's just good for them to see that they're not alone, and end their whole visit on a better note. When families first come to the center, it can be a little overwhelming to see all the handprints as soon as they come in, but it also puts in perspective that it's a real issue that's going on within our community. I had one dad one time tell me, it's a lot of handprints at this place. It's sad to see this. So I pointed out to several around where their kid had put their handprint. I had pointed out and I said, do you see the ones that are fading? Well, we like to think that those are the ones that are healing. So it's always how we see it, and it's the perspective of we're here to make a difference.
A forensic interview is a neutral, fact-finding conversation with a child. Forensic interviewing is both art and science. trauma can enhance or diminish a child's ability to tell their story. So the art of forensic interviewing is being able to recognize those enhanced or diminished traumas and then using our science, our skills, our trainings to make a connection with that child so that they can tell their story.
And then if you want
Do I need to smile though? Because I looked at the last one and my mouth just it just moves and nothing else moves. But my mouth.
It looked very natural
Okay.
and conversational. And then if you want to tell the angel story.
Okay. How do I start it? Yeah.
How'd you start it last
I
time?
don't know.
You can just. I don't know. I don't think it
Okay.
matters
Okay.
exactly how you started.
I was having a conversation with a young lady and stepped out of the room to talk with my team. And when I do that, I let them draw or write if they want to. And this girl drew. She drew at first just a head with a dress and some legs and arms. And when I came back in the room, I said, "Tell me about your drawing." And she looked at the drawing and she said, "I drew you." And I said, "Well, tell me about it." And then she looked at the drawing, looked back at me, looked at the drawing, and she said, "It's missing something." And then she drew angel wings on it and put a halo on it. And I said, "Tell me about that." She said, "Well, you're the first person that's ever believed me." And I felt comfortable telling my story too. So I was her angel that day. And that is very special to me.
I love that story every time you tell it.
Does that make it sound like I'm talking about myself though?
No.
Okay.
I like that you said, like, she felt that way because she felt had a comfortable space in person
Okay.
to talk to.
I didn't want it to be like, I am an angel.
No.
Okay.
No, I
Okay.
think that was perfect.
Okay.
And then as far as Bobby,
Oh, okay.
Margarita talked about what she appreciated him as far as like advocate aspect. So if there's anything that you want to talk to as far as like forensic interviewing,
Okay.
why you appreciate Bobby, and then also just why you feel like he is deserving.
And then how do I start it?
You could say,
Something about
How
him
long-
getting an award or anything?
yeah, I can't remember what we're calling it, to be honest with you. But you could just start with like
A sidekick or something like that? I don't know.
He's not getting
Okay.
the sidekick award. That's
Okay.
a different award. That's
Okay.
being given away. But you can start with
Bobby is, I feel, Bobby, Detective Hammondtree is deserving of
this award. You could
Of-
this award. This
okay.
recognition.
recognition.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sorry, 1 second.
I just lost it anyway. I was ready to go and then I quit.
So part of my role is to oversee the different programs that we offer at the Children's Safety Center, but a big piece of that is to provide prevention and education trainings in the community. Some of the trainings that we offer are mandated reporter trainings. That's when I'm able to go into schools and youth serving organizations and really any agency that might have people around that work with children, and so they would be considered mandated reporters, and so I'm able to give them tips and tools on how to look for signs of abuse, how to talk to kids, how to respond to a disclosure of abuse, and then of course their requirements as a reporter and what the laws and things like that are. We also do sexual abuse prevention trainings, and so that is really, really close to my heart. I think that it's just so important and valuable for any parent to, to become really knowledgeable about signs to look for, as well as like how to talk to your kids about body safety and what age do you start those conversations, and how do I keep my kids safe on the internet. This year I've really been able to incorporate a lot more information about internet safety, knowing that, as technology changes, we as adults have to really become really aware and educated on those things. We also do child curriculums for kids in schools, and
You might just restart that sentence like we
yeah,
also do.
how do I want to word that? We also offer curriculums for kids. Yes. Here at the Children's Safety Center, we also offer curriculums for children. And so I've been able to go into the schools and educate and train all of the school counselors here in Washington County on a curriculum called Empower Me. And so that is a body safety curriculum that was created for kids probably kindergarten through 5th grade. And so we know that a lot of parents just don't really know how to talk to their kids about this, or they don't know when the right time is. They may think that they're too young, or that it would be scary to teach them these things, but that's really not the case at all. And so we're really excited that we're able to give them this really, really important information. And then this year in 2022, now 2023, okay, I'm going to say that sentence again. So we started at the end of 2022 incorporating a new curriculum called the Monique Burr Teen Safety Matters into our local schools in Washington County. And one of our other staff members has been able to incorporate that into several different schools. And it is a fantastic curriculum talking about things from again, internet safety and things around that, as well as healthy relationships and bullying. There's all kinds of things that are really fantastic that this curriculum is able to offer. And so we're really, really excited to continue that in 2023 and be able to train even more people.
Awesome. Why do you think trainings and community education is important?
I think that child abuse prevention is super important for all of us. I think that sometimes when you are an educated adult and you have a college degree and you might think that you are really aware and you're gonna do all the right things, and that's just really not the case all the time. And so even abuse does not discriminate. It can happen anywhere, any community, any organization. And so we as adults, it's our job to protect kids, and it's our responsibility. And so we have to learn the tools to be able to do that. And it's also ever changing. So, because you think that you have a grasp and maybe you've talked to your kids, things are changing all the time, especially with our technology. And so again, it's our job to be aware and educated on all things around, that's not what I want to say. What should I say? Af, give me one last sentence that's like,
Because, let's see, because it's important to not only, like, something along the lines of, like, it's not only important because you want to, keep the kids in your life safe, but you also want the kids in your life to have the tools to be, I don't like that. That's what I'm talking about it.
well, I just had a thought on the tip of my tongue. Okay. So it's the adult's responsibility in a child's life to keep them safe. But that doesn't just mean our own children. That means children that we come in contact with at school, at church, at youth groups, at after-school programs. And so the prevention education that we can provide here through the Children's Safety Center really is so far-reaching, and will reach many more children than just the ones that we may have contact with.
Perfect.
I'm going to use the word far-reaching again, though, when I talk about but it'll be a different video, right? Is it a different thing? Okay.
It's a different video.
Okay.
The first one is, let's see. Do you want to start with just all the ways that Riff Raff and City Supply have been involved, like with all the trainings that you did, and the tours, and just all of that?
Yeah. When did they first, like my first training was
2022 was when they first, like last April was when they first like really started again.
because I think one of them was in January, wasn't it? Look at that, like those dates. That was the first Riff Raff training.
Peyton's in the conference room.
Yeah, will you ask her?
She knows.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, Peyton.
Hide behind the door.
Is that good?
Yep.
I didn't know if I moved. I moved out of
No, you're
out of
fine.
view. So what'd y'all name your little girl?
Karis.
Oh, we used to work with a girl here. She worked for the Arkansas State Police, and we loved her so much, and she just had this infectious laugh. She was so beautiful, and her name was Karis, and we think about her all the time. But it's a cool name. Is it Karis?
Yeah.
Yeah. She would say all the time, because people would like, you know, it's like, what's your name? You know, and she's like Karis, and then she would always say like, it's like Paris with a K, or you know, like to get people
My
to.
friend whose name is Karis, her Instagram is what is it? It's that. basically.
Paris with a K. Yeah. His little girl's name is Karis, and I was like, we used to work with a girl named Kara, a lady named Karis, and she was so great. Anyways.
They took a tour and said we're all in December of 2021.
And then
immediately.
boom. Okay. So am I just going into like the whole thing with about?
You'll have your name and like your title and everything, or I will.
It will. It will
Send
be
it to
there.
them.
Yes, it will be on there.
And so.
Because where you're going to cut some of this, it's just going to be like little snippets of whatever. Okay.
I think with them breaking down the stigma, it brings a better opportunity for survivors to come out about abuse, especially people that may have felt shame or felt like they had a part in what happened to them, when in reality, like, that wasn't because of them. And they've done a great job of just washing that away and starting clean of, like, we're here to listen no matter what that means. And they've just done a great job of supporting all the advocates and all the people here to help those kids along the way.
That was perfect.
Okay.
That sounded so.
Vulnerable?
Yes.
Okay. What the center means to me is a place I could walk in a very vulnerable time in my life and know that I wasn't going to be judged and that there were people on my side, no matter what that meant. And I think that's something really cool, especially in such a broken world where people always have to be divided and people have to take sides, but you know these people are going to have your back no matter what. And they're just here to listen, and they're here to support you and love you no matter what that means. And I think that's really cool. As soon as you walk in, you're assigned an advocate, and they're with you, not just from your start date, but there really is no expiration date on that. And they're going to continue to pour into you and love you, and whatever that means, or if you need free service or you need people to go to court with you. And I think that's something really cool, because I know a hindrance for a lot of families is the cost, and it's, oh, what do we do if this goes into a court case and all of that. And I think that is just a burden lifted off their shoulders and something people really get to like feel relief in. And instead of worrying about the cost, parents can worry about helping their child or whoever is affected by the abuse.
Love it. And how would you say that the center has impacted you?
The center has directly impacted me. I came here, I guess, about 5 years ago with a case of my own. And going through the forensic interviews and court was something really scary, but I knew, like, I had essentially someone holding my hand along the way, and also, like, being old enough to understand, like, this was, like, a big deal and there was a lot of things that went along. It took a weight off my shoulders as a kid, knowing that, like, my parents had people that were going to help them along the way. And just, like, it helped me, like, take a deep breath and realize, like, this isn't any of our faults. Like, it was because of someone else's wrongdoing, but, like, we get to be together as a family and walk through that.
I'm Elizabeth Shackelford, Executive Director for the Children's Safety Center.
And then what is the CSC? What do the Children's Safety Center is an advocacy center.
Okay. The Children's Safety Center is designed as an advocacy center where we assist those providing the child abuse investigations. We are able to provide the services that are specialized. For instance, the forensic interviews, the forensic medical exams. We provide on-site trauma therapy, and all of our services are free to the children and their families.
Perfect. If you, from your perspective of being the boss lady, what what are all the things that we do that you feel are important? If you can, you know, I'm sure you probably think everything, but
From my perspective as the executive director, I feel that all of our services are unique within Washington County and critical for children who have experienced abuse, neglect. We primarily see the allegations that come through are sexual abuse, and we're able to provide that advocacy, and we don't have a time frame, so our advocates are able to work with the children and their families and teenagers for as long as they may need. And we connect them to community resources, and as well as providing that therapy. We know that is like the last need that child, we hope that that's their last need that they have for closure is therapy. And being able to, right now mental health is so important in our community, in our country, all around. So you can imagine being a teenager day to day and then adding traumatic experiences or going through human trafficking. The therapy we provide is going to help these clients, and they will be able to experience more of a normal life.
perfect.
I didn't say anything about the forensic interview or medicals.
But you did earlier.
Okay.
We'll all like be together.
Okay.
So it'll look like,
I'm like, okay.
and it was great. Those are the first two that you mentioned, and I
Okay.
made notes.
Okay.
So, let's see. I think that is there anything else that you feel is important that should be said about the center?
Mhm.
Just in general, if you were to be talking to that you haven't already said, if you were to be talking to someone or explaining this place to someone.
As executive director of the Children's Safety Center, I also get to observe the team as a whole. And to do this work day in and day out and to hear the stories and to see the physical abuse or to talk to a teenager who has gone through human trafficking, I see it takes the whole team. And we all bring our strengths to work together to make sure that child, once they walk in our door, once that teenager comes in, that we're able to provide any and all services so that they can begin their healing process.
That was wonderful. You're killing it.
Yeah.
It's the pink. I think that is good for
Okay.
the CSC video.
Okay.
And then for the Fayetteville Junior Civic League, do you remember, like, because I've only written the one. So of all the grants that you've written for them, you could like list some things that we have received because of the grants that they've given us through the years.
Okay.
And one part.
Sure. Can I just kind of talk about the Okay.
Yes.
But then you can ask me like if I miss.
Okay.
Okay.
That was awesome.
Okay.
Did you get through your birthday?
That's me.
Okay.
That's what I waited. Cookies, Debbie offered to take Washington County Sheriff's, Prairie Grove, and Farmington.
Okay.
Like probably later today.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna send out an email to the staff with what's
To
left.
see
and say, please.
Who
take-
will help? Okay. And Springdale's coming
I
here.
have Springdale and Elkins.
Okay.
All right. You honestly hit all the points that I had notes on with that.
Well, each of those people were very key with the Fayetteville Junior Civic League and our connection. And
Well, and you mentioned both the people that are in the. You can come through, Marg, if you need to.
We're just talking.
oh. And another one was Amy Driver. Amy Driver was president one year for Fayetteville Junior Civic League, but she was also during that time, a prosecutor with the Washington County Prosecutor's Office. And so she truly understood
Yeah.
our services inside and out and the clients we were helping.
That's a good point. You could talk about, because that, you're good. We're just brainstorming.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden there's this noise.
It's her heater.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that Evelyn gets
I'm
cold.
like,
You're good. You could talk about how, because Fayetteville Junior Civic League is a volunteer group of women from all throughout our community, there were so many women that understood what we did, and so because of that, we were able to, I don't know, like, I don't think receive more support is the right word, but
and
just the fact that they
support.
understood what our kids maybe were going through, and supporting, and them supporting our kids because of that meant so much more, or just, I'm not saying the right words. But I like what you said just about they understood, like, what we did,
okay,
and that was a big part of why they wanted
Okay.
to work with us, I guess.
And I guess back in the beginning, when they initially became a partner of the Children's Safety Center and we became a partner of the Fayetteville Junior Civic League, Amy Driver at the time was also president, and she also was a prosecutor who prosecuted many of the cases we would see and work with the children and the families. And so, having someone else to help us raise awareness and educate the community, how much more powerful than a group of women who are driven to do volunteer work and give back to their community. And so many of those women, all of them, children and women were their top priority in this organization. And so it has just always been such a great support for us to have these women not only provide, monetary funds, equipment, but also who are out there educating other families in our community.
My name is Lindsay Wagner. I am the Director of Clinical Services here at the Children's Safety Center, and I'm just going to talk to you about all the services that we offer on the mental health side. So we have 2 full-time therapists. We have 1 contract therapist and 2 full-time graduate level interns. And within our program, we offer trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, or TFCBT. We also offer EMDR and CPP. And in our new building, we're really excited because we're going to be able to have our own CPP, I don't want to say all that. I guess I should say what EMDR and CPP are. Should I say that? Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. I'm just going to leave it as EMDR. In our new building, we're actually going to have our own CPP observation room, which is really exciting. What else should I say?
I would talk about just like what you're trying to do with the type of clientele that you see. So like.
So we're like explaining like the whole shebang bang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like.
Give the whole spiel.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the great things about our mental health program here at the Children's Safety Center is that we don't charge insurance. And with that being said, that means that we can see clients for as long as they need, whenever they need. And so a lot of times kids will come here and they're little, they're 6, they're 7, and we've had kids come back, later on in their teens, and we're able to see them, and there's no questions asked. Same thing, we don't have to put a cost to healing. We get to serve those that maybe wouldn't be able to afford services somewhere else. We also don't put a time on healing. And with being able to offer different types of interventions, we are able to meet those really specific trauma needs of our clients. What else can I say? I can say, what did we just talk about? We just talked about
Therapy graduation.
Yes.
Or you could talk about the process of assessment, CATs, just all the different services, if that makes sense, that you guys provide on a day-to-day basis.
And whenever you finish a thought, you have a wonderfully expressive face.
So just
but you can,
stop.
But you can just, stop.
So just localize that.
As soon as you finish, you're like,
Stop. I'm like, what else should I say? I don't want a really expressive face. Okay. A graduation story. Okay, I got one.
one like,
Oh,
food, like
Oh,
hair.
thank you. It's going rub. I gotta think of how I want to word this. I'm just thinking it's coming to me. It's fine. I'm thinking about my little kid that came back. A really great story that kind of encompasses all the things that we do here at the CAC. CSC, not the CAC. Oh my God, going up. Oh my God. Emily would die. A really great story about a therapy client that kind of encompasses all the things that we do. We actually had a mom call up, and it had been about 2 years since the child was seen here for their forensic interview. And at the time, the child was not interested in receiving any mental health services, and so they hadn't went forward. Well, the mom calls, again, it had been about 2 years, and she said that the child, who was now 8, was really wanting to talk to somebody about what had happened. And so it was so great to be like, you know what, we've got room for her, we can take her, and I actually took her on as a personal client. And we were able to go through TFCBT, and she did graduation, and it was such an honor to be able to walk with her through that process, because it was her choice, and she really wanted a place to go. And it was so great that mom was able to call us and not have to be like, well, you're going to have to wait 6 months, or we can't afford to take you right now. The kid said I needed help, and we were able to be there for her.
Anything else about the mental health program that you think people should know about?
There's so many things. I'm just trying to think of like a good.
Like through the day, just like explaining. So obviously you do sessions.
Yes,
but you also
but
do
I'm gonna like
CAC
talk about like whenever the
assessments and
family's
crisis
here.
intervention.
Yes. One of the great things about having multiple staff members and 2 full-time graduate level interns is that we're able to provide crisis interventions to families. So whenever families come up here, we are available to do a CATS, which is a child and adolescent trauma screener. And it's just a great way to start talking to families about mental health services and maybe some concerns that they're having, or some concerns that we're seeing. And we're able to walk through the process with them. It can be a lot less scary, just to have someone that understands the process and understands trauma. Another great thing, too, is that we take care of, do we want to talk about referrals? I don't know, referring out, okay, let's not do that.
You could, to wrap it all up, just point out that this is one part of the process that allows us to serve the family as a whole. Something like that.
I guess I want to talk about, being able to see siblings and stuff. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize, too, is that when families walk through this door, it's affecting the entire family. Yes, we have sometimes maybe one main victim, but then you have parents, you have siblings, you have a whole family unit that is being affected by a specific trauma. And we are able to see and help non-offending caregivers as well as siblings. That laugh's going to be in there for sure. Margarita. Marg! Shh! We're filming!
That was a good one, though.
You run it!
I got right now!
I'm just going to talk about the siblings non-offending caregivers again.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about our mental health program is that we are able to assist non-offending caregivers as well as siblings. Right now, I don't want to just talk about myself, because I'm the only one seeing a caregiver, but I can just right now that we are offering services, and that's too personal because I'm just currently seeing them, but
I mean, you could say...
I think a perfect example of that is that we are seeing, we're seeing all 3 siblings and a parent.
Yes. I think that's great.
A perfect example of that is right now, myself and two of the full-time therapists are seeing siblings and the parent. And so we're able to provide wraparound services. And I don't know if any of you have looked into getting therapy lately or scheduling therapy, but to be able to provide a set time and day where the mom only has to come one time a week with all of her siblings, or with all of her children. Cut. Where a mom is only having to come to one appointment one time a week with all of her children and for herself is a huge impact. Especially when, statistically speaking, like we're seeing a lot of other parents offending or it changing circumstances of being able to transport or financial situations. It's just awesome that that's like one less thing that parents are having to worry about. What else?
That's great.
More new building things or no?
I mean, you can just talk about how
Okay.
you're excited about the expansion of the therapy program in the new building because
There's just ample.
yeah.
One of the biggest things I'm so excited about is the expansion of our own mental health wing in the new building. We could see as many clients as we wanted. We are just limited by space. And with that new space, we're going to be able to hire more therapists and be able to reach more families. We're also just going to have designated areas for our therapy especially. That includes group rooms. I already talked about the CPP room, but also a therapeutic playroom. The ability to get outside with our clients is going to be huge. And so we're just really excited for all the things we're going to be able to offer.
My name is Casey Parrish, and my role at the Children's Safety Center is the Forensic Nursing Manager.
Great.
Okay, we'll do that one. And then I'm going to explain the medical. Can you see my hands?
No. So like
If I just hold that
it
there?
and then
Okay.
Just lift it up in between.
Okay. The medical exam is a time for the child and the caregiver to have any questions answered and any concerns addressed about the child's body and their well-being. We'll do an overall head-to-toe assessment of the child, and we will do a thorough history taking with the parents. We'll address any concerns at that time. We can do evidence collection, lab testing, give medicines, and most importantly, I feel, is just a lot of education with the family and the child. I'm going to say something else different too.
Perfect.
I'm going to kind of go through that section again and we'll see. Anyway, you can use what you want. So the medical exam is a time for the child and or the caregiver to meet with a medical professional. The child gets to walk away knowing that their body is okay and that we've addressed their overall health and well-being. We're also able to make referrals for ongoing care if we identify any needs that they may have.
Do we need to tell them to be quiet?
It should be. I think it'll probably be.
Okay.
The medical exam is a time for the parent and caregiver to meet with a medical professional to talk about their overall health and well-being. They'll get a head-to-toe exam and we'll thoroughly check out their body and make sure they're okay. We'll do lab testing, make sure they don't have any infections. We'll do lots of education about any concerns that they may have or different safety precautions that they can take. We can do evidence collection for law enforcement to assist in investigations. We can give medications to prevent illnesses and infections. And we can also make referrals to other medical professionals for ongoing care that they may need. The importance of the medical exam is overall the child's health and well-being and making sure that they're okay and that they're safe. During the exam, we do assess for their safety and then make sure that there's nothing going on in their body that needs assessed or treatment. Also, we get to make sure that that child knows that their body is healthy and normal. a lot of times these kids aren't at a cognitive age or have the ability to know that just because something terrible happened to them, that they aren't any different. And we get to let them know that they aren't any different than anybody else and that they are okay and that they are healthy and normal.